Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
Welcome to Performance in Motion with your host, Dr. Deniz.
Okay, folks, we're back for our last segment. Again, I am joined by Mr. Wade Taylor, the owner of WSRadio.com. What's up, Wade?
Well, just learning a lot every time we have a discussion about this, about how all this applies to my own life. Just to bring people up to speed, we're in the fourth segment, but it's been an interesting discussion talking about our experiences because I'm the person that never exercised, that now at age 55 needs to address some challenges. You're the person that was the pro athlete that got dinged up, needed to exercise to address some challenges. So we kind of all come to the same point, just from different paths. And, just to really paint the picture for people so they can appreciate what you're doing with me and for me. Again, I've got a thin build, and as I was growing up and kind of comparing myself to adults, I went, man, I'm never going to be that skinny guy with the big belly. And then one day I woke up and I was the skinny guy with the big belly. And so you've definitely helped me knock that down. People have commented on, wow, nice. You're looking leaner. But just to draw that picture, so if you're out there and you're that person, right? If you're the professional, the desk jockey, we spend a lot of time in front of computers and such, and being physical really isn't on your radar, you still are a human being. And I encourage you to look at ways to improve yourself, avail yourself of what Dr. Deniz knows to make your life a little bit better. And then in addition to people like me, there are those people that actually do have injuries, right, that are struggling through some things. And so what are some of, I'd be interested to hear some of the severe trauma or injuries that people may have out there that they may not realize that this, you call them neurological principles, could be having a dramatic effect on improving their situation.
That's a great question, and quite simply, anything with the spine, usually the lower back. When we have pain especially, that usually involves the nerve roots and the nerves that come out of the spine that control the legs.
Uh-huh.
So when someone has back pain per se, and we can throw out a million terms, right? Sciatica, slip disc, things like this, herniated disc, you will see alterations favoring dysfunction in normal walking.
Right. That's in the earlier segment, we used the analogy of you've got a rock in your shoe. Only we don't recognize we have a rock in our shoe, so to speak.
So what happens when there is pain present is that the brain, as we were talking before, and I'm just going to use a little more clearer terminology in relation to a computer. So the brain writes a new software program to work around the temporary problem, which in the example you said, right, the rock in your shoe, so that creates a compensation. And then what happens is, as we heal, unfortunately, there may be healing in the soft tissue affected. However, this system, this software in the brain does not always reset to the primary or normal operating scheme once we heal, once the tissue heals. And this is really crucial for people to understand, because they'll say, oh, well, my foot feels better or my back feels better. But that programming, which is our central nervous system, our brain and spinal cord and all the nerves, doesn't recognize the old pattern, the old program, as we compared earlier, program A versus program B.
Interesting. Tell me if this is a useful analogy or a fitting analogy. What it kind of reminds me of is, let's say that you've got a tree growing, right? Well, you can cleave that tree trunk and say, put something in the way, and the tree will simply accept that's the new reality, and it'll compensate by splitting its growth. And so now instead of, say, one straight tree, you've got a V shape, right?
Right.
And kind of the tree's going, okay, problem solved, right? Okay, if this is a new norm. But in 10 years of growth, one of those limbs has grown so far cockeyed that comes a windstorm, and that's the one that snaps off. So the tree thought, hey, I've compensated, but it doesn't realize down the road that compensation is creating an inherent weakness. And it sounds like our bodies are doing the same thing, but again, we're oblivious because it's all happening internally.
I think that's a great analogy. So when we have pain, which leads to compensation, it changes it's called motor control, how we move, our stability. And the problem is that now our body is very unsure how to be stable or when to be mobile. And so it becomes unpredictable and inconsistent. And the more this happens, it is just such a negative cycle to the point where most of us who have been active at 40 or 45 or 50 require some type of surgical intervention, such as, some spine or neurosurgery, hip replacement, knee replacement. And what I'm trying to share with the world is we don't have to go along that path.
Yeah, and so it's been fascinating over this hour. Again, you've got an example of somebody that was sedentary, and now that they've got physiological issues that they need to address. Somebody that's a professional athlete, same situation. So it really drives home the simple point of you need to do a physical assessment now, because if you are human, there's things that have occurred in your life that have created imperfections. So if you're a professional like me, that you don't really feel a problem, one may be down the road. If you're an athlete at some level, you probably are feeling the pain, and Dr. Deniz can assess that and look for solutions. And then also, as we learned earlier on, if you're a parent and you want to help your child not grow into problems like these, at around first grade, it wouldn't hurt to have an assessment. So have I encompassed that fairly well?
I think you've done a great job. And just with that last statement, it's not a coincidence that in that age group in middle school, 10, 11, 12, that's when there is a screening by most medical doctors for curvature of the spine. And when you have these types, again, of structural asymmetry, that is a huge predictor for injuries, especially during sports.
Yeah, so just, it's kind of like before you buy a house, you want somebody called an inspector that has a trained eye to review things. And so it looks like we barely have any time, but what website, again, can they learn more about you so they can look into having that trained eye evaluate them or their family?
It's www.deniza.com. And the phone number is 619-807-6571, and I'd be more than happy to speak with you for a few minutes on the phone. This is a complimentary assessment, which is usually $100 for 20 minutes. And if you mention that you heard us on WS Radio, Performance in Motion, I'll throw in an extra few minutes. So this is Dr. Deniz. Yes. And I'd like to say that...
and what's the website again, just so make sure people get that?
So www.deniz.com. So we are finishing up today, and it was such a pleasure having Mr. Wade Taylor as my guest, and looking forward to our next segment together in the future. God bless. This is Dr. Deniz, WSRadio.com, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
podcast or radio show on WS Radio is a great way to create content marketing. Turn prospects into customers into raving fans. Contact Wade at WSRadio.com or call 866-WS-RADIO.
Life is full of misadventures, from car crashes to home fires to getting choked out on the mat. Yes, I said getting choked out because I'm Carlos Kramer, jiu-jitsu competitor, MMA and media personality, and mild-mannered insurance agent. You can follow my adventures on Kick-Ass Radio, and I can protect you from life's misadventures at Kramer Insurance. Home, auto, life, business, and workers' comp. We're at KramerINS.com, and I want you to join my world.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
One person has the power to change the world, impact millions of lives, and leave a legacy for lifetimes to come. That person is you. In the New York Times bestseller, What is Your What? Steve Olsher, award-winning author and founder of the Reinvention Workshop, reveals his proven process that has helped thousands of men and women discover, share, and monetize the one thing they were born to do. Grab your free copy now at www.whatisyourwhat.com/free. That's www.whatisyourwhat.com/free.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Hi, I'm Nicole Heffel, an attorney with the Heffel Law Firm, and I'd like to encourage you to join me in honoring our troops. Part of the Heffel Law Firm's mission is to advocate for those returning veterans in need at no cost to them. You can help us with this by allowing us to serve you with your estate planning needs. I'd like to invite you to contact me at heffellaw.com. That's HEFFEL law.com, or call 619-550-3080.